Let's talk about today's chapter. Today's chapter 15, we talk about Purushottam Yoga. So Yoga of Supreme Divine Personality. It's called Purush Uttam. Uttam is divine and Purush is a divine supreme soul. We call Prakriti Purusha, so Purushottam. So how we can become a divine personality? From normal human to divine person. So that's where we'll try to know. So before we try to go ahead, let's understand the last week what we talk about. So the last chapter about chapter 14, Guna Tarya Yoga. So we talk about how to bypass these three gunas and how these gunas is making this soul difficult and trapped by this sattva, rajas and tamas. So this material energy is so powerful that we are already trapped. Our soul is already trapped in this. So we already discussed about that. And the whole solution for this bondage is for the soul to bypass these gunas. We need to go gunatit. So trigunatit. So we need to transcendental state we need to achieve by bypassing this active agents called guna, and then only you will get a supreme lord. And here Krishna again mentioned about how to strengthen this, how to bypass this, what are the tools you needed. Again the tools is given by the bhakti, the devotion, and he also said devotion to the God, and you need a guru. So we need, by a help of devotion to guru, we can bypass easily to achieve this supreme law. And we already discussed the personality. Those who have risen above the three gunas, how it will look like, how you can identify that, or how what are the characteristics. So that we already discussed about. So those who they don't have like a sthit pragna situation, maybe they are not happy also or not in misery also, whatever happens in the life, and establishing in itself, connected with self, rather than to be think about it or going away from ourselves. And they don't see any value in, so everything for them, gold or iron or stone, everything, mud, everything is the same value. And intellect. So intellect, the true intellect is to know that what this body is all about, that we are not here, we are here for temporary. So that is the true intellect. Also we accept the blame as well as the praise and equanimity. So here we need to understand, we need to accept both. Not every time a good thing happens. Sometimes the people cheat you, sometimes people rob you, sometimes people say insult you. So in that insult we should not be disturbed, but we need to stay away. So we need to hold it. Similarly, sometimes people praise you, sometimes people dishonor you, taking advantage of you. So just come out from that and be stay away that. And sometimes people treat you like a friend, sometimes people treat you like an enemy. So again, you don't be good or bad, or you disturb your emotions. And sometimes people may take it for granted, or maybe they are using your intellect for different purpose. So anything you are encountering in this way, if we are not affected, we should not affect it, then we are already going bypassing the gunas already. And if we are affecting, that means we are still some reason that we are attached, or some of this guna is making a pulling down to us and making disturb. So we need to go beyond this, we need to learn how to go beyond this. So For me, as I said earlier in our previous chapter, so this world will treat you. This world, your friend, your family member, your society, your culture, your religion, your country, they are all teaching us this. How to, they all want to trap, they all want to use in a different ways. So they are all teaching us a yoga. They are all teaching us how to not be affected by them, be with them, but not affected by them and go beyond them. Because these are all the trap with the different ways. So we need to be aware about them. So that's why Gandhi says we need to be first. Whatever the change you are looking for in others, we need to be first. Then automatically you are going beyond that. So about today's chapter, Purushottam Yoga, this is very small verse. This chapter is small, only there are 20 verse. And if you see this last 6 verse, we talk about this is talk about the Gnana Yoga. So there are a lot of information, there are a lot of talk about Vedas. So you may find certain terminology difficult to digest. Some terminology you will see the repetition in a different ways. But this is and that's why you will see the certain slide I had to put. No matter how I cut down, but I need to write it down in a more sentence form rather than the word form. So it is more information is there. So first 1 to 6 chapter with the verse, again Krishna is giving the statement about the gunas. Because he's continuing from the last chapter, so he's keep talking about the gunas and how the people has affected and connected and slave by these gunas, trapped by the gunas, how the soul is trapped by the gunas. And then 7 to 11 he's talk about a subject of living, how this soul is living and how this the people, that how trapped and how they are living in a different, in a false identity. This is what we are living. We don't realize who we are and what we have, that false identity, false ego, false knowledge, false intellect. And 12 to 15, 3 verse, he talk about the nature of, he's showing again what he showed in this uh, chapter 12. Similar ways, he talk about his Yoga Maya in a different perspective here. That how this 3 chapters about his divine nature and subject about the God. And 16 to 20 chapter, the verse, he talk about how you can become a divine personality, a Purushottam, or the subject about the Purushottam. So that topic actually he's talk about in a very last 4 chapter, four verse rather. Okay, so he's preparing a groundwork, and then very simply he said that if you are going and if you understand this, that means you already become Purushottam. So at the end of this chapter, we will know, right now we are a normal human. If you want to become a divine human, what we needs to do? Simple. What are the tools? What are the do's? What are the don'ts we need to do so that we can become a divine personality? Now he's putting it very simple, but that is where, and actually is a simple. While I was preparing this, I was thinking, yes, it's not complicated. He never said any to do any kind of chanting of mantra or master degree or this or whatever it is, so in that way it's very simple. But as far as we caught into this maya and this gunas, then makes a big difference. And that's why we need a true knowledge, a self knowledge to understand, and the person, a true guru or the teacher who can explain us in a right way and take us to the right knowledge, and then dissect all this information and help them. So we will see. Now if you want to summarize this in one line, this chapter, we need to give priority to divinity, because this is what we don't give priority. We have time for everyone nowadays. We have time for our children, our job, our parents, our husband and wife. This is fine, but these are all the zeros. if you don't put a 1 before the 0, you don't have a value. We don't have a value. So the priority is the divine. The 1 is the divine. We need to put all this first, and then we have all the zeros. Even we have 1 0, we have a value. So we need to put a priority, just shifting the priority. Most of the time, we don't know the what is priority. Which one is priority to me? We just focus about maybe a husband or children or my house or my family or my job or all this. This is my priority, which is fine in a material world. But if you truly you want to become a divine personality and you want to know yourself, you don't want to caught into this, you don't want to come again in the cycle of birth and death, then you need to change your priority. Simple as that. And what should be your priority? The divinity is your priority. Now, how to prioritize this? We will learn about this chapter. So again, last chapter we talk about how the Krishnas is explain about the transcendental by this gunas, by attending this divine goal. So he talk about that we need to use the exclusive devotions. We need to engage in the devotions. Then only it will help to bypass the gunas, and you will detach your mind and attach your mind into the God alone. Because once you bypass, then you need to attach. So you need to detach from the gunas and attach from the for the God or the divine. So that's where you is like you are removing the label here and you are sticking the label in the God side. So once we do that, then automatically it will be easier for us to go beyond these three gunas. And by doing this, we need to know, it is important to know how to do this. So once we do that, we need to understand the nature of this world. If you don't know this nature of the world, you may say, oh, I know this world very well. This is everywhere, the material world and this and that. No, this is still we don't know. The Leela, there is the Yoga Maya, the Maya, we don't know certain things. So it very interesting in this verse, Krishna gave one example of his like, he don't talk, he's like doing presentation to Arjuna and giving a more graphical representation. Or maybe that time he is giving one of the very interesting example, and which is very very appropriate to make understand about this world and how this world is manifestation happening around us, and how we are trapped by this world. So that once you know the characteristics of this world, nature of the world, and how this world is trapping you, then it is very easy to bypass that, and then you can easily bypass gunas. So in order to bypass gunas, you need to know this nature of this world, and this is exactly he's explaining in this one, this chapter. Now he gave the first verse itself, he gave the example of aswath tree. Okay, so he gave is like, there is no such tree like this, by the way, but he's giving like an example, a metaphor. So Krishna says, this, I'm giving you the example of this aswath tree. Aswath tree is generally the tree, you will see the roots is underground, and you will see that the leaf and the branches outside. But this tree is other way around. You will see the roots outside, and all the leaf and the branches and the fruits is underground. So this is he called aswath tree, something like this. Okay, so now he says, now aswath means this will it won't remain the same in the even the next day. So every moment this tree is changing. Physically it is growing the buds and the growing the branch and all. So imagine in your imagination that this is upside down the tree, and it is keep growing every moment. So he says that all the leaves in the Vedic, all the leaves, he gives a metaphor of all the like Vedas hymns. and then you know the Vedas, the secret of the person who knows these Vedas, who understand this tree, who understand this nature of this world. So let's try to understand. It's giving this metaphor. So he says that, so we talk about that generally you see the roots down underground the tree, and then you see the leaf and this outside. And the base for the Aswat tree, the base is originated, supported by the divine God, and it's other way around. So the leaves of this tree is like a Vedic mantras and the ritual ceremonies and rewards. So that is under the ground. So under the ground, that means you need to make effort and you need to know the secrets. Then it's very easy to work on it. And what is the nourishment the tree is getting is this material existence. So the secret here is, once you know the Vedas, once you know the secret, how to cut down. So you don't entertain on the top, because top is the root, it's keep growing. This is a Maya, this is the desire. It is keep going on. There is no stoppage of this. So you need to go other way around. And you need to know, if you really, you don't want to come again and you want to be liberalized from this samsara, this world, then you need to know the Vedas. The Krishna says here this word Vedavit. That means you need the knower of the Vedas. That means the person who has the knowledge of how to cut where this tree and the nature of the tree. Then otherwise it is like the same way. If you have a normal tree, if you just water on plants and the leaf and the branches, but you don't water the roots, it won't go to that. So we need to have the knowledge that I need to feed in the roots, then automatically the rest of the tree will get it. So similarly, this tree has other way around. So we need to have that really understanding about this world and how we are trapped by this. So he's giving this metaphor. Further, he explained that all this leaves is nourishment by perpetuating this. All this branch is coming and going and increasing is happening. Manipulation is happening. The multiplication is happening. It's a cycle of birth and death. This is where our soul is coming and going and take one body to another body. And then, because this is a continuous process, so soul is generally, soul doesn't have that end and starting point. But due to we are trapped by this, so soul is just trapped by these gunas, by these tendencies, and then he has to come and go again and again and come back and follow the cycle of birth and death. So this is also later on he will explain. And last time, last chapter, we saw that how you take a birth based on your karma. Either you become a stable or the same yoni or same way you come, or you go higher level, or you go lower level, animal level also, based on your gunas, based on your efforts and karmas and your past karmas. So many factors involved. So here he give this metaphor that the tree is keep multiplication is happening, and this is nothing but a cycle of birth and death. So now if you compare this material creation with the tree furthermore, so the main trunk is the tree, that's like a human form, and that's where the soul is perform the karmas, day-to-day karmas. You go office, you go to meet person, you eat everything. So what we are doing, so it's like a main trunk of the tree that you are performing the task. Material existence irrigated by these three gunas. So who feed this tree? Three gunas. The moment you born, the moment you want to, oh, I want to go for meeting, I want to go to fetch my daughter, I want to go to school, I want to make money. So this is where we feed, we driven. Every morning, the moment you wake up, immediately we have nowadays our gunas in a form of WhatsApp, in a form of email, in a form of meetings, in a form of all the different ways we go and we operate. Oh, I have today meeting, I have an agenda, I'm meeting this person for business, I'm meeting for this for dating, I'm meeting for this for the lunch. So all this material existence irrigated by these three gunas in a different activity, and we trapped by that. We are not doing what we like or we're supposed to do, but we are doing based on the someone else target. We are just following. We are just meeting to that. And very subtly, this guna is hacked us, hacked our emotions, hacked our mind, hacked our soul. And then it is going, oh, you have to make money so that if you go and attend this meeting, you will close the deal and you will make money and then you can pay your bills. So like this, we are trapped by this, very systematically irrigated this tree by these three gunas. And once these gunas comes in, we need to be experienced. So that's where the sensual object will come in. So all the senses, it is like a buds on the tree. So this is where we like it. So when you see the buds little bit, oh, my tree is growing or the flower is coming, so you feel happy. So when you have all the sensual experience, maybe the taste or maybe whatever, the all these six sense or bodily experience. Now maybe a food, maybe a company of a boyfriend or girlfriend, or maybe a vacation, or maybe a party, or whatever it is. That is the sensual thing. We need to be like it, and that's where it will grow more, because you want to see that to 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 to, to grow in a very, and you want to repeat that experience. So in that way, it's called a Vaishya Pravalaha. That means the birds it is helping us to grow more. And this is where nothing but you are growing your desire more indirectly. So it's again, it is keep growing very fast. So again, so technically this, he give this example is like a family of a banyan tree. So if you have seen that banyan tree, the more you see downwards, the more see outward also. And there is a branch and all this roots is going and go beyond this land and up, you know. And it similarly, Krishna defined that the birds is nothing but sprouting and creating the material desire. Now that can be a relationship, that can be a business, that can be money, anything. We are living in this material world. So this is, the birds is like growing every moment. They are growing and getting stronger and stronger, like a banyan tree, and it's keep growing bigger and bigger. And there's no way it's dying. If you see the oldest banyan tree also like that. So, and it is growing in aerial roots also. So again, you see that how our desire is growing upper side and going stronger, our roots also. So Krishna is exactly defining this as an example. And if you see again, as I said, the branch is also going not only in the downwards, going upwards and the wide ways. So it is like replicating and multiplying from each branch to another branch to another branch to another branch. So this is how, if you see this banyan tree, this is how our desire right now. This is how our thoughts, our emotions is replicating so fast without any effect, without any awareness. Now I want to remind again those who, we already discussed this few times. To relate this, I feel very important. So I want to remind again and see how this is manipulating. So if you remember, our thoughts will develop attachment, the sangas. The repetitive thoughts will develop the attachment. So remember the flow, how we got into this problem. So our repetitive thoughts will develop the attachment with anybody or any object or any situation. The more you think about any, you just think about iPhone, new iPhone or new boyfriend or new holiday or new car. The more you think, automatically you will have attachment with that person or situation. Once you have attachment, you will develop the strong likes and dislikes. And any moment, the likes, the more you likes, you will develop the desire, like that branch, it is developing. And the more desire, now desire once you develop, either two ways, either you fulfill your desire or unfulfill your desire. And the moment you think you want to buy an iPhone and you bought iPhone, then it will, you need to buy another one, or you want to buy another gadget. Okay, now I have already bought it. Now I want to buy a laptop, or I want to go to another way. Once you buy a house, you want to go to another house. You want to buy a millionaire house or 2 million house. You see faces house. So it's a desire never fulfilled. Technically, this is like that branch. It will keep getting stronger and then it will multiply. And eventually this, the more the desire is fulfilled, it will eventually become a greed. And the moment it's become a greed, you cannot unfulfill. So similarly, then you will develop the anger, frustration, suffocation, all these things, all self-critic. I'm good for nothing. I can't fulfill my desire, or I can't achieve what I want. So this is the trap is created by these gunas. This is the trap is created by this material world. Who decide this to have this standard of living? Oh, I should have this, because everyone is judging now. Everyone. Oh, if you want to go and meet, then you have to dress up nicely, or you want to presentable nicely. You want to show off, even though you don't have money. But let's say you want to wear Rolex, or you want to show the car. You know, that, oh, I'm coming and I'm staying in this particular address, or I'm coming and I'm driving this particular car. So many times people judge you by the outside, and then they want to do a business deal. So this is where we have issues. This is how the society. So as I said earlier, everyone, so Krishna is telling us very interestingly that you need to know the nature of the world. Everyone, from your parents to your society, to your friend, to your colleague, to your boss, to the education system, everyone wants to take advantage of us. Okay, so we need to be very aware, and we are already trapped by this. So how to go? So Krishna says, so this is nothing but this desire. I want to put it here, that this is how it is expanding our desire, and after that. So then once it is cycle of starting this, then you will be aware that this cycle of birth and death, which is unable to comprehend. We cannot think, we don't understand, like this Aswath tree, and then we building up again and again. Why we don't understand this cycle of birth and death? And why don't we find this birth is very attractive? Because the desire nature is attractive. You is like that, the flower, how they attract the all the bees. So we attracted by our own desire to fulfill. Now desire can be material, desire can be a situation based or object or anything. The core reason is we don't know who we are. So we have a false identity. If you ask, who are you? Oh, I am David, or I am Prashant. But what is my existence? No one has taught us who we are. Do I have this body? Tomorrow, if I do a makeup and I do let's say a plastic surgery, I may change my look. You may not recognize me. I can be changed, my voice can be changed, my look can be changed, my whole identity changed, my passport changed, my everything changed. Then who am I? So we always think that, oh, I am this and I'm living in this country and this is my house and this is my, everything is my. So we don't understand. When you say my house, my body, my husband, my wife, my, or I, then we have issues. We need to understand the true ourselves, that this body is not, this is just a shell. The inside, the truth, that the each and every one of us is the same. The outer side is different. We are all the different object. The inside, the electricity, that prana, that is that the driving force is the same. All of us are the same. We came from the same source and we are going to go same source. So we are nothing but a vibration. We are nothing but the electricity. We are nothing but a energy as a real purpose. So what we are wrap around, we wrap around this body, and then we will see how we trap. And once you have that knowledge that who you are, then you will come out from this trap of the cycle of birth and death. And not only you will make effort to come out once you know that. Now once you know the true reality, then it is very easy to detach, because the asang, we are telling that when you, so then you are finding a remedy for the soul, that you don't want to be end up into this wrap around this soul, come again and again. Once you know that, oh, I'm already trapped, so you want to come out from this trap, and then you start detaching and you cut the cord. Whatever it is bothering you, you are start changing of doing that. And what are the tools you need? You need a X, that is the self knowledge. You need to know. Now this self knowledge is given by the guru. That understanding is given by the guru. So you need a knowledge to know yourself. That is why it's called self knowledge. You don't need any booklet or anything. Once you know yourself, who true you are, then you know that how your soul is, how the relationship with this body is temporary. So it is, understand that you have $1 million necklace, then you are putting into the jewelry box. What is the value of the box? It's the same thing. Now you say that now you have you have the key. So you may have the key, but you kept your jewelry, the necklace inside the box, and then you lock it. And you know the value also. And you tell the whole world, I have $1 million necklace. But what is the point? You are not wearing it. You are not utilizing it. You are not enjoying it. So similarly, a lot of people, first of all, they don't know that they have $1 million necklace. Some people they know that, oh, I have $1 million necklace, but they don't have the key to open the box and then wear it. And some people have the key also. They know the value of the box also, but they think, I don't need it. I will wear when I am getting old. Where I will wear when I'm going to attend one prestigious wedding. When I have that my certain birthday or my wedding anniversary. So you are waiting for that. Provided if you are going to alive, we don't know. So the knowledge is, so Guru has the key. What is the role of the Guru here? So Guru will tell you that, look, you already a millionaire already because you already have $1 million. Don't attach with that box. So this is the box. So inside we have all the $1 million awareness, the soul. That is the one we need to achieve and wear it every moment and feel it and experience it. So the Guru can give you the key to experience and know how for the self knowledge. So once you go and you wear every day that necklace and you feel happy, and you not for anyone else, for yourself, then it makes sense. Otherwise, what is the point? You have $1 million inside and you don't use it. It's the same way like you have $1 billion in your savings account. Neither you are not investing in the bank, any business, nor you are spending the money, and you are happy every day by seeing your bank statement, or just log in inside and see, oh wow, I have $1 million. What is the point? So the idea is we need to spend and we need to multiply. And if you are intelligent, we have a self knowledge, we invest money and then we multiply. So there, once you have the knowledge in this human life, we enjoy the company of our own soul, and we multiply the joy, the multiply the love, the multiply the happiness, not only for us, for our loved ones, for the humanity. So it will start with ourselves first, then your family member, then your community, then your society, and then your world. But that is only possible once we happy. If you are not happy, we don't know the value of ourselves, then it's a useless time. So Krishna says very clearly here that you need a knowledge of self, and that can cut all this material things, and you will detach, and then you know your true personality. Now that make another question you may hear, that how to surrender the base of the tree where there is a supreme Lord. A lot of people have a difficulty to surrender. And where to surrender? Oh, divine is here. How to surrender? I don't know how to surrender. So this is where Krishna says, very interesting. This is, give up your ahankar, the ego. Now ego, I'm not using the word ego because ego also identity. Later on we use it. But you can say that pride. Now everything is like iPhone, iPad. I have done it. I. Every time we talk about I or my. Oh, this is my body, or this is my house. This is my car. This is my boyfriend. So when you say I or when you say my, what you are trying to do, you try to tell that I am a owner of it, or this is I have created. Really? Do we have created anything? You don't know that, because the intelligence, who gave you intelligence? All this is generated and given by the divine. So the first thing is we need to let go. This is where Krishna says that the pride comes from the ignorance. It's like a stupidity. You are ignorant because you are not knowledgeable. The ignorance here, the why you become ignorant? Because you don't know the true knowledge. So once the ignorance is there, you are just living in that myth. You are living in that false ego. Oh, I have done it, this is how, this is I have did it. So that is where the biggest problem of surrendering. If you see all the poet and so-called the yogis who has achieved the bhakti yoga, they are all uneducated, and they have written the poet and the couplet so intelligently, so precise, that even Harvard University also, the professor have a difficulty to explain and understand. Even two liner, even one line, chitta vritti nirodha, simple like this, because it's come from the heart, and they are become an instrument rather than they think, oh, I know. The moment you say I know, that means we already show that we don't know anything technically in a spiritual world, you know. So now, so second says, once you give up your pride, then you eliminate the attachment with the material world. Understand that there's a whole world, it is, you attach, it is taking you nowhere, because the all this what we see and what we hear is all maya, all illusion. It is just a fake world. Okay. And very interestingly, we are attached with that world. So Krishna says here, first you let go your ego, put your intelligence aside, become stupid. And then secondly, you eliminate the attachment with this material world and attach into me, selfless services, divine services, into the name of the divine, in the name of the God, whatever, however you believe it, and you do the services, selfless services, without any affected, without any ego, without any expectation. That's where we talk about the karma yoga last time, how to do karma. So we need to be using that element. And finally, once you do the selfless service without any expectation, automatically your heart will start purifying. And this is another way of cleansing the heart. How to cleanse our heart? So that's why we used to go for when we are like, I don't know, maybe teenage or 15 to 17-year-old, when my father and mother used to force me literally, because we don't want to go to that ashram and like to do a service or seva, we call just voluntary service. And the reason we don't want to go is because we are so-called educated, like we know that so-called intelligent, we know how to operate computers and all these things. And when we go there, obviously those days they don't have a computer or any other technology, but they put us a very, oh, clean up the toilet and then clean the bathroom. So all this low level jobs. So we are like teenage and like a college, oh, we are like knowledgeable, don't give this kind of low level work. Then very slowly we realize, very later part, that this is very important part of let go our ego and why we are doing. So luckily that mother father forced us and said, don't think, you just do it and don't complain me whatever you are doing there. Then we realize that this is the fundamental things they are teaching us. The first, it's the same thing, you know, when you get a job, they give you all this all this unwanted job. So this is where it's a different way of testing you. So we need to, once you go there, then you have a very, you don't see the difference between anyone is doing all the work. Even the guru also doing cleaning the toilet, and they are also teaching, or they are also cooking. So there is no work is like a small work or the priority work or the bigger work or the so-called the best work. and everyone is doing everything. So that the first lot of myth and fundamentals ego is already break by the different ways. So that's why when we do a voluntary service, we happy. But the same job you do in your business, even though you get paid, but you are not happy, you get a stress. So that's the difference, because you work from the heart, and that's where you have an expectation of the salary, your expectation of the time. So this is where the best way to do the seva or the voluntary work, that is where we are, your heart is getting cleansed. And once the heart is getting cleansed, is very easy. It is already ready for the next step for devotion. And that will help you to take you that other side. Now, Krishna again explained, furthermore, he talked about his identity. He said, like how I don't need it. I am already beyond a moon and sun that is already illuminated. And I am going beyond this sun and moon. Everywhere you see my identity or divine identity, you will see. And he truly nicely explained about Sat Chit Anand. Sat Chit Anand. So if you see, Sat means truth, Chit is consciousness, and Anand is the bliss. So this Sat Chit Anand, we have already explained this earlier chapter differently. Now here we are explaining a little bit another way. So here Krishna talk about more eternal world, how his world he's talking about. This is what is eternality. Knowledge is the chit, consciousness is the knowledge. So once you have a knowledge about this soul or about this consciousness, then the what is the result? The result is the bliss. When you meet your, let's say you have a boyfriend or your husband or your children, you never met for 1 hour, 1 year or 2 year, and suddenly you meet them, how you feel? You feel joy, you feel happy, you feel bliss for that particular moment. So similarly, this soul is dying to meet us. Our consciousness is trying to meet with us, is hungry from birth to birth. So many, we don't know that how many birth cycle is there. That's why we have a hunger. That's why you are there and I am here to we talk about this topic, because there is a hunger, it is continuation. So there has to be a match. There has to be a, we need to find it. We need to meet it. And how are we going to meet it? By this true knowledge. And once we meet this knowledge using that key, then ultimately you will feel the bliss. And that's blessed. You go beyond the realm of this divinity. That's already go beyond the sun and moon, how they are like performing is going beyond that ground. And once you achieve that higher supreme abode, you won't come back again. So that's why we call, you will get a moksha. That means you don't come again and repeat this cycle of birth and death. That is the human being objective. We don't need to come again and again in this stupid world and form our body. It's the same thing. If you are working as a, let's say, marketing executive, you are earning $5,000 and you are like 20-year-old right now. If I ask you when you are becoming, let's say, 50-year-old, and if I give you the same salary and same job, do you want to accept it? You may say no, because and maybe after 50 years or after 30 years of experience, I want to become a vice president. I want to take $1 million salary. I want to take more responsibility. So this is how it is, because we like to grow. Now here we become very intelligent. The whole 30 years, I don't want to work as a $5,000 salary and my executive job. I want to become a CEO. I want to become an investor. But what about this? Consciousness. When we become a human, consciousness is nothing but executive. Why you want to come again and again the whole worth? When you die also you want to come again as the same consciousness level and same job. Why don't we need to do something so that we don't want to come again in this human body and we go higher level of the human? So we want to become a manager, then we need to become a supervisor, we need to become an area manager, we need to become a vice president, we need to become an owner, we need to become an investor. We have that capability by this birth itself. By here already you can become an investor. So we don't want to waste time to come again and again and again. So this is the opportunity. Krishna says that you can break this cycle of birth and death and don't come again and again then doing the same job again. Waste of time. Then we do something that we go higher level of this level. So in we already discussed about the lokas, the 7 level of consciousness, above and below. So if you don't do work properly, you may go down, degraded also, you retrench also. Similarly, that you may not come into human form. If you don't perform, the you just enjoy your life and you ignorant and you party and this and that, you entertain this body, you may deteriorate body and you go down. You may become a dog or you become a cat also. You never know. That we already discussed last chapter. Not necessary that you will become a human body. So at least we know that we are human, we have opportunity, we have a knowledge, we are hungry. So we are talking about this, then we go higher levels and then we have a capability to do that. So we must take advantage of that. Now here again, Krishna give very specific embodies of the souls, how the soul is coming and coming and going into a different consciousness level or the material level. So Krishna says that all the material level, my eternal level also in a fragmentation. So every fragment, every part you will see me. It's a part of divine. Today I was teaching about pranayama. So I was talking about the same thing but different form. So every mineral world, animal world, you will see the vegetable world. There is a prana. There is a manifestation. There is a 5 elements. There is a vibration, there is electricity, there is a vital force. So similarly, this is the same thing Krishna is telling, that everywhere where you see, you will see the fragments of divine, all the fragmental part of it. So that is me. Now he says there are 2 ways. There are integrated part and there are different parts. So integrated part, he's talk about like a swans. So swans means integrated part. That is where all this avatar coming in. So like a Krishna is an avatar, Rama is an avatar, Varaha, Krishna, Rama, all this is an avatar, is a legend, let's say. It is coming, and that is the integrated part, is the whole one body. And they come time to time and then give us a knowledge and take us to the higher level. And there are a different defragmented parts of the God or the divine. That is where we don't understand sometimes. That is where we already discussed, if you remember, this different energy of Maya and the Yoga Maya in the chapter, the verse, chapter 7, we talk about that how that he has a material energy. So basically the material energy, the mineral energy, the vegetable energy, this everywhere, the different layers of the consciousness, different layer of the material energy, different layer of this gunas. And this he already mentioned is a different parts of the divine. In this different part, there are 3 types of souls are traveling and take places that he explained in this Vedas. So according to Vedas, there is a Nitya Siddha. That means they are already like a born rich. You can say that the people, some people are already born rich. You know, they already they have some kind of luck or some kind of, so they like a Nitya Siddha. They always liberated. They have that knowledge and they resides in that divinity. So always higher level of consciousness. They don't come. They don't do a low level job. They don't come back. So because of their karma and that, you can like they born rich already there. So some of the yogis like a Vivekananda, they born Bruce Lee. Some of the personalities, they born talented because they come and they do their job and they go fast. They don't waste time in this planet Earth. We say that, oh, he lived only 30 years or 39 because they're already job over. So what is the point to stay here? Now, similarly, second level is Sadhan Siddha. Sadhan Siddha is person like us, like a self-made millionaire. So we need to do effort to become a normal human to divine human. We need to do a sadhana. We need to do practice. We need to understand the Guru's knowledge. We need to be put our lifestyle changes. Then automatically we achieve that divinity. We will become a millionaire. We will go to that level of that consciousness, high level. So this is also, he explained this. So this is the possibility, we have it. And the third is Nitya Baddha, is a low level people. First of all, they don't have a clue why I'm here. So a lot of people they don't have, oh, why am I in here? What I'm doing in planet Earth? Why I born? They don't know the fundamental questions. If you don't know why you are here, what is your purpose as a human being, that means whatever you do is waste of time, and you are doing to manage, operated, and engaged by the senses, and you are entertaining your bodily senses. Now it can be a food, it can be a sexual pleasure, it can be a the drinking or place or people or whatever you are doing. So you basically lost, and everyone is kicking like a football, everyone is kicking, the situation is kicking, and you just enjoying. Now you may enjoy, you may depress, you will happy, all this drama is happening. So this is what is like a nitya baddha. Now there are one category also, some people knows, oh, I know my purpose of life, but they caught by these gunas, by this the mentality and the mayas that we already discussed last phase, that rajas, sattva and tamas. They the tendency of the mind tighten, bound by the soul, and they cannot go beyond this. So that is where nitya bandha, they cannot achieve the higher level. So they already stuck, they always working as a low level, and they will also come back again and again. They trapped by the mind, they trapped by that this material maya, this material world. So even though they are aware of it, what is important and what is good for us or good for them, but they cannot take actions. They are like Duryodhan. Everyone knows the smoking is not good, it is injurious to health, but still people caught into this, people addicted to that. Everyone knows that to do meditation or certain things we need to know, or we need to go and do it, but we trap by that. So this is one of that case. Now what happens when we talk about the mind and senses, how the soul is traveling, you know? So how this mind and senses will trap the soul, and make the soul basically a slave. And what happens when someone after the death, what happens to the soul if that the mind and senses is trapped around the soul? So this is where Krishna says very clearly how the air carries the fragrance from place to place. So even you are here, but the air is coming from certain directions, or someone house or someone persons have just put a nice perfume. So automatically that fragrance you will feel it, you can smell it place to place. So similarly, the soul also carry that embodied soul, the carry the fragrance and the feeling and this of this mind and senses. Whatever we behave and believe in this world, we will be taking that into our subtle body, and we will become like that in our next birth. So we see the gross body, but we don't see the subtle body. So subtle body and causal body will include the mind and senses. So as if you remember last chapter, we talk about the five Panchakos body. So physical layer is okay, but all about the vital body, the mental body or emotional body, and the knowledge body, the Gnana Yoga. All these are the subtle bodies, the subtle layer of the body. So when we behave in this world, let's say you like a dog. Oh, my dog is, I can't live without my dog, or my mother, or my laptop, or my, it can be an object, it can be a animal, it can be a pet, it can be a situation, it can be a country, it can be a weather, anything. You know, we are so attached. So that impressions about that dog or that particular cloth, also my favorite t-shirt or my favorite watch or whatever, that is in that energy, because whatever that what you see is energy, maybe a dog or maybe a phone or maybe a situation, that energy is absorbed by these subtle energy bodies. And when we leave our body, it will carry it, and you will surprise, you may become like that also sometimes. So if you are, that's what Krishna says, last chapter we discussed, that you may become dog also if you are a fond of dog. Every time you think about, oh, what happens. And that's how some people is like, we say also, I heard, I know some of my friend also, that they have some different relationship with the pet. So that also will carry, you know. Similarly, like my brother and me, my brother have some amazing tuning with the dog, especially the street dog. He was sending me a photograph. Is all the dog now? He is in India, so he's like feeding every day. Is like my house is like full of dog, and wherever he goes, somehow the dog follow wherever he go. But if I go, no one follow me. So maybe I am not having that communication or that feeling or that energy in a different body. So everyone has that connections with the way, and then the more we attach with that, we will carry that persons. It's a similar another example I give. Let's say if we don't know each other, and sometimes that this happens to me so many times. I'm sure you also experience in this your life. So when we go to hostel, so hostel you don't know who is your partner. So let's say I stay, and then you first time you met, okay, this is you are staying in the one room for 3 years. Let's say this is your hostel mate. First day you don't know the person, you don't know the habits about this person. You will realize after few months or few days itself, you 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 start getting copy. So basically we absorb the energy, or the maybe let's say he is talking bad word or whatever it is he's in his language or whatever, you picked up that and you start speaking that language or that behavior or that kind of habits, and similarly he will also pick up from you. So what happens here, there is a merging of fragrance. There is a one place to another place, knowingly unknowingly subconsciously we are copy pasting each other. It's very interestingly. So similarly this happens in our day-to-day life also, this material world also. This body is knowingly unknowingly we are carrying the impressions, we are carrying the sanskaras, we are carrying in the subconscious mind, we are storing it. And that's when we live. If we have that attachment, we will become like that, or we will born in that particular country, we will born in that particular womb or particular family or particular area, based on our subtle body is longing to that. That is why, if you are present in that earlier chapter, we talk about very deeply that at the time of the death, what you are remembering the most, that that is the one you will become. So that's why Krishna says, at the time of the death, you think about me, then you get me. Simple as that. Because generally, if you, I don't know, you have seen the people die, or how they behave. The last moment they talk about, oh, what happened to my daughter, or what happened to my property, what happened to this. Then they leave the body in that fear, in that what next. Then they will come back again, and they trap. But Krishna says, I repeat, those who are not there, he says, at the last time of my breath, if I am in lie down and I know that I am going to go, I have a difficulty, that point of time, I have to literally let go. And I have to merge my breath, and I don't bother about it. That's why the yogi has created the 4 ashrams. In fact, he says after 75 years, you already start becoming ready. And nowadays, we don't know that we are going to reach 75 or not. I always give example. I think some of you are aware. Can you imagine at the point, you have to think this. I always think this way. If the death coming right now and say, okay, Prashant, you have 1 hour and let's go. What comes into our mind? Can you imagine? Just for wild imagination. If death coming and said, okay, I will give you 1 hour. Now pack your bag and whatever you want to do, or give me, I want to do immediate call, or I want to wrap up any work or whatever. If we are busy doing the work, that means we have the attachment in this world. But let's say if the death coming and say, okay, I'll give you one hour, and after come back 1 hour, our answer should be, okay, let's go now. If we say let's go now, that means we are living in the moment. We don't have any past or present, because who cares? We are always living. So I don't bother about money, I don't bother about my family, I don't bother, because it's the death coming, and okay, I don't have to, I'm attached already, detached already. If we have that attitude, or they have a mindset, that means we already go beyond the gunas. We already we passed that test. But you said, okay, give me 5 minutes. I want to make the call. I want to make that. I'll just transfer this money to my mother or father or whatever. So they will have this. Otherwise, I don't know. Only I am the signatory. Then how my money, what happens or whatever. Then we are trapped. Believe me. So just think wild imagination. I always think. So this is where we are not living in the. So we need to have that checklist. I am ready or now. Every moment there is a death and life is happening by this breath. And when you are breathing, the life coming. When you are breathe out, we are dead. We don't know the next breath coming or not. So actually we are trapped by this in and out. If we can live this way, believe me, you have tremendous strength. You will never have a fear. You will never have anxiety. And you live in the top of the world. And you will, I can't tell you that feeling. It will be amazing because no one try to band you. No one try to threaten you. No one try to use you. No one try to do anything because you are living in this moment. So who cares? Every second, every nanosecond. And when you are living in that moment, you want to wear that necklace every 24/7. So you are utilizing. And everyone will, once you are wearing that necklace, everyone say, oh, Maria, you are looking good. Oh, Prashant, you are looking good. I don't know how you become happy all the time. They will curious because they don't know the secret behind that. So this is a secret. Simple as that. We need to live in this moment and we need to think, and then we can easily make free this soul from this boundness is bound by this mind and senses. Now Krishna, again the further chapter, he explained very interestingly how this senses and mind will trap the soul. So we create a perceptions, sense of the perceptions by our all senses. And this is why we trap and we like certain taste. Oh, this is my favorite food, or this is my favorite t-shirt. This is my favorite restaurant, my favorite person, or my favorite friend. Everything is we have a favorite. So that's why we have issues. But if you see, the soul is being divine, and actually soul cannot taste it directly. Soul is very pure and is cannot taste, you cannot touch, you cannot smell, you cannot hear. But what the mind and senses can wrap around and create that perceptions around that soul, it create that consciousness kind of feeling, and energized by this consciousness, the soul is like a lifelike. So then you feel is like a false feeling. You will feel it. Oh wow, I am feeling it. But eventually you are developing a pleasure and pain, object, situation, and thoughts, person to persons, surrounded by this mind and senses only. And that is the reason of also we need to be go beyond this, and we need to break this chain. And due to the ego, the identity, now here ego is not about the pride. Here the ego is all about our identity. That is the false identity. That the soul identity will actually misplaced, and this false identity is created by the mind and senses. So then we think that, oh, soul also need this ice cream, soul also need this happiness, soul also need this. If I marry with this person, I will be happy. Now when you say I will be happy, not I as a soul, I as the ego, I as a person, I as a thing, I is the mind only. But soul is nothing to do. Soul just say that give me the happiness, give me the silence. I don't bother you marry or you don't marry, or you eat or you don't eat, or you go to become a poor or whatever. Soul doesn't need that. The mind is needed that. And mind is creating this trap, and that we try to create that pleasures and pains and all this. So criteria is created by the senses. So mind is using all the senses as a worker or as a tools, and then make all the senses make fool around with the soul. So we need to be aware that infinite internal divine bliss, that's where the soul seek. Soul doesn't need anything. It needs to meet that divine love and to meet that supreme soul. And that is where it resides on each and everyone's heart. And that can be attained by going beyond this body. Now here I would like to talk about very interesting story. you may not heard about. I never talk about this earlier. Now there is a Tulsidas. Tulsidas, the person who wrote Ramayana. So he was very young and very handsome guy. He married to the beautiful woman, and he's young. So it's a newly married couple. And after some days, the wife went to her parents' house. So he was so obsessed about wife, and even though she went for the, let's say, 1 week, he couldn't take it. So he want to give her surprise, and he cannot take it, and he wants to meet her. And so he was so passionately, and the desire is so strong to meet her and to see her. Although there is a the father's house is very far, and there is a one big river. So, and there is one day he cannot take it, so he wants to say, I want to go and meet my wife. So he travel, and then there is a heavy rain, and there is no boat to take him to the other side of the river. So somehow he was so blindly attached, and find any wood or anything can find it and take him to that other side. There is a dead body is floating around. So he just grab that dead body and feel that is a wooden, but then immediately he just, he don't see that this is a dead body, but he used that as a, he feel that this is a wood. And then at night immediately he cross over it. Once he cross over it, he go and managed to go to her house, and she was like second floor. So he don't want to go to that main door, because main door he just want to give like typical like a surprise, you know. So he was so desperate to meet her in the back door entry. So he want to climb. So he don't see the, he see like a snake there in the like nearby the wall, but he think this is a rope. So he just use the snake as a rope, and then he go inside and then knock the window, and that's okay. And then wife saw, okay, you are here, how come you are here? And then he just realized that he was so desperate to meet her, the so strong desire. So he used the dead body as a, he thought is a wooden, and he misunderstand the rope, snake as a rope. So he was so excited and like talk about, oh, I want to see you, and I can't live without you, even you know, like a newly married. You know the what wife says? Wife says, I can't believe this, that you came to meet me. For what? This is body, this is the blood and flesh only. You came here to experience this blood and flesh. If you have this strong desire to find the divine, you will easily you go out of the cycle of birth and death. So Tulsidas like broke, and he strike immediately. She's right. Why I have to go? It's just body. This is what we are doing. And then he immediately gone into devotion. He detached everything and he wrote Ramayana. Now in this world, if we go and say wife will be happy, oh wow, you came in, and wife, no wife or girlfriend is telling, okay, you go back, and then why you came to meet me here, you know. So this is the world we are living in. In fact, if you don't go and meet, they will create a problem. So we need to understand that this, we still is attached by this body, flesh, and these things, and this is the physical body we are attached. So she already knocked him out, and then says that you have to have this, how the strong desire and passion and lust with me, the same love, or it's not a love, it's just a physical body you need attached to me. You need to attach with the divine, then you will get a higher level of consciousness. So the wife will become an object only, then he immediately realized. Similarly, the Kalidasa also similar thing, you know. So sometimes all this is the real stories, and we realize also that we also caught into by this material body or this flesh, or maybe we trap by this object of senses, object of pleasure. Now it can be a human, it can be a car, it can be a situation, it can be a your country or whatever. So we need to aware our true sense, and then we need to go beyond that. So then Tulsidas start pure devotion, and he attached with the divine, and he wrote amazing Ramayanas, amazing Hindi version of the dohas and poet and poetry. And he explained himself about how he attached and how he detached and put wife to Rama, and then he purified himself in a way. So so basically we need to be like that. So here the ignorant don't do perceive the resides in the again. So the true, we think the stupid person or the ignorant person think that this body is everything. So we enjoy this body by the nice food and then entertain the body and all these things. And to realize that you need an eye of the knowledge so that you can see the reality that this body is going to go. Don't entertain the box. The box doesn't have the value. As long as there is a million, the necklace is there, there's a value. The moment the necklace gone, this box no has a value. So as long as we have that consciousness and the life, we need to have the value. Otherwise, we are not having this anything. So this is where the soul is a non-material and cannot seen the touched by the material senses. The soul doesn't need material world, and it cannot be achieved, it cannot be satisfied, it cannot be felt by these material senses. That is what we are trapped and day-to-day work we are doing. The consciousness is a symptoms of the souls. That is where you can feel the presence in the body. So it's a similar like a car and driver. Who drive the car? Not the car engine or the maybe a petrol or something. You can have a full new car with everything perfect. You have a full with the gas, everything is perfect. But if there is no driver, the car won't move. So this body has everything. But if there is no driver, there is no soul inside, there is no consciousness inside, then it won't move. So understand the true driver, meet the true driver, and try to understand what this driver wants to go, this driver where to travel. For that you need a pragna chakshu, or you say the gnana chakshu, eye of knowledge, so that you can see that, you can feel that, and you can meet the soul, and then you can have a friendship, and then it's okay, where you want to go, I will take you out. So that's why an ignorant who don't aware about this, a divine identity, ignorant say, oh, the car is there, as long as the car is there, okay, I will ride. So they don't give the credit, oh, if I am driving, oh, Prashant is driving, so I am just giving the label of this body, whatever name or identity are doing this, but someone else is driving. So we need to have a, that's why we said there is ignorant and vimukh, we call about, we are unaware of the divine identity, that who we are. Now, in that sense, there is one interesting concept here Krishna explained about is, once you know that, yes, I have my soul and I want to know more about it, and I'm looking for that knowledge of the knowledge of the self. So you are striving for that knowledge. Now to look around for that knowledge is also not important, not enough. You must has to go beyond that and find a guru or the teacher who can direct you in that path. You need a guidance, you need a support 24/7. You need a love, you need a passion, you need a feeling, you need a like a friend, you need like a treatment, so that you can understand very well that where this body or where this, okay, let me share. So this is where we need to be aware that only the strive for this knowledge is not important. You need a guru so that he can direct it towards you, and it can give you the tools, it can give you the support also. So this is very important. And all this perception created by the senses, the guru can help you to break down and give you the right knowledge and right methodology, the practices and everything, so that you do whatever it is rightness and what is required by the soul. And sense cannot perceive something that intellect cannot comprehend. Because again, whatever you feel it, it is under the intellect. We try to define it. You cannot feel or experience beyond the intellect. So intellect cannot comprehend. And very interestingly, now soul cannot perceived by the senses. So technically you cannot catch soul via intellect in that sense. So this is where we don't have a clue. We try to catch the soul or the divinity or the silence or the God by this intellect. And that is not possible. You need to put aside, then only you will get it. Now here, there is one of the Nyaya Darshan, where one of the classic example or the story of the Kupa Mandukya Nyaya. They call it very famous example of frog in the wall, in the well. So what is this story? There is a one frog in staying in that well. So you see the well is very small. And one day, one frog accidentally came from fell down in this well, and this new frog came from the ocean. So this guy, they are talking. He said, "Where you came from?" He said, "I came from ocean." So the frog is living in the well. He said, "How big your ocean? Tell me." So he said, "Very big." He said, "This big?" He just going to one end to another end this well, and he said, "Is this big?" He said, "No, no." He's laughing. He said, "Not this big. This is very small." So he said, "Bigger than this. How many times? 5 times, 10 times bigger than this?" He said, "No, it's more beyond that." So now, so then the frog who's staying in that well, he cannot understand how big the ocean. So he said, "I can't believe you. You are, I don't think so. There is beyond bigger than this." So he said, "No problem. I will take you and see yourself." So this guy from the ocean, frog, he take him and then, okay, this is, I'm talking about ocean. Then he freak out, okay, this is ocean, and then my well is so small. So our intellect is also like that frog in that well. We don't think beyond certain level. We don't comprehend beyond our intellect. So we need a guru that has came from this ocean and that will experience, that go beyond this. And that's why, to know ourselves, we need to go beyond intellect. And that's why Krishna says also, you need a devotion. Become stupid to understand soul and you become a divine. And again, he explained that we attracted towards what we feel. That is significance. So in a day-to-day life, we are more significance for us is our body, our health, our wealth, our children, spouse, so which is fine. And that's why we attracted with them. And we work around with that object. And once we are doing that, we don't realize that he says, Krishna says, my energy is going beyond the significance. In each and every creations, you will see the significance. Can we see his significance in each and every molecules, each and every particles? That's what we, in a previous chapter, we talk about and explain about how to see and how to surrender and all this. So this is the same thing he's talking about. You go beyond your own world and try to see me, and then you will try to relate me in everywhere, because your world is also part of me. Your children is also part of me, and what you see that. So that we need to go beyond our small region. Similarly, to go beyond his talk about his presence, his talk about again as energy, he said the gam means earth and the ojas is energy. All living beings, you will see my nourishment in a form of my energy, he says. I nourish all the plants, and it's talk about all juice of life. So wherever there is a life, whatever there is a energy. So he's talking a statement here that each and every particles, you will find me in a different form of energy. Now here, he put it in another way, very interestingly, that I who can take a form of fire of digestion in all the stomach and all the living beings. So everywhere. So when we hungry, that hunger is developed by the divine itself. And when you eat the food, that digestion of fire, the transformation of that energy is nothing but the divine. He said, I am in that energy also. That is also my energy. So, and coming and going, this breath is also my energy, the prana. So, and all the work. So he talk about fire of digestion. So now here, he talk about the 4 types of digestion, very interestingly. Now this is where he is connecting the Ayurveda also here. He says that there are 4 kind of food. Chaturvidam. One is bhojya. Bhojya means the food that you can chew it. Okay, like a bread, you can have a bread or chapati or any rice or something that you eat and you chew it and you eat that way. Second is a peya. That is you have to swallow it. So like a liquid. So milk or juice or water or anything that is liquid that you have to drink it. Third is koshya. Koshya is a suck. You need to, certain food, you need to suck it. Like sugarcane or certain fruits. You suck it and then you throw it out. And fourth is lehya. Means you need to lick it. So like a honey, you know. And by the way, this is the proper way to eat also. If you eat honey in a cooked or different format, it won't give a medicine value. So certain food has to, you need to lick it. And you will see that interesting aspect of Ayurveda also he talk about. So here he mentioned about this 4 types of Agni or the fire, digestive fire. So he talk about the energy here. So each and every energy what we are thinking, his presence will be there. That's why in India there are a lot of temples and gurudwaras, they are offering a free food in the same concept that the when hungry coming in is a hunger also. There is a, when you give the food a free or you buy someone a food, you are giving them an energy, or that is you are treating the divine in a way. So they are already using that concept to feed free in particular temple or particular society or sometimes certain family also, you know. So this is the similar concept. Now divine alone is the goal of the knowledge. So here Krishna wrapping up in the last 4 chapters that how you can become a divine personality. So similarly he said, I am sitting into everyone, all living beings in their heart, in the memory, in the knowledge, and I can forgetful also. So the Vedas is the one, by knowing the Vedas, you know me. And he's also said that Veda is a part of, so in India also, it says, you can track the history, who wrote the Vedas. There is no beyond this Vedas. So that's why we always say the Veda come from the divine, Veda come from the Brahma, because you never find a track back. You find the Ramayana written by Tulsidas. Who written the Tulsidas? All this, each and every scripture you go, you'll find only one person. It's called Ved Vyasa. So basically, the Ved Vyasa is actually a creator of all the Vedas, of Veda Darshans. And he's the avatar of the God. He's a manifestation of the divine itself. So he wrote all these Vedas and in 4 Vedas, and all the 4 Vedas has all the knowledge what we talk about today. Okay. So he says that in the essence of the scripture, you engage your mind and body, and then with the help of Guru, with the devotion, you can get me. And you know, by knowing all these secrets of the Vedas, you will get to know me very well. And so he's giving that tips in a way. And furthermore, he talk about in the last 3 chapters here that there are two entities. This material world is a perishable. It's the word kshar here, kshar, is a perishable. So whenever we talk about the material, it is going to go, no matter what and how, relationship or money or anything, it won't be stable. At any point of time, it will go, and it will, whenever it will be surrounded, this individual soul will be bound by this, and then it will suffer. It won't find that bondages. Now it may go to the insect level, the low level, or it may go the higher level that we already discussed based on the past karmas and present karmas. And another way is the soul maybe possess the immortal body, that we don't need to experience the death cycle of death and birth. So that is where we call imperishable, akshar. So we already discussed in akshar vibhag yoga earlier. So this is where we need to, once you achieve this, you become imperishable. You go beyond the cycle of birth and death, and you become a transcendental. And once you go beyond that, you are meeting the supreme soul. Now, individual soul is not a supreme soul. So once you are identifying, you are meeting to the higher level of, you are tying up with the boss, you are tying up with the higher level of that hierarchy. So individual soul is the tiny body is residing in this body, and supreme soul is residing in our heart, every living beings. So that's where once it is meet, then we will go higher level. And that is our objective also, by the way. So those who reason above these three gunas by translating this supreme personality, or you go by understanding this world, this material world, it is very easy to bypass this three gunas. And once you bypass these three gunas, you become a divine personality. It's called Purushottam, supreme person, from normal human to divine human. If you remember, this is the objective of the yoga. So yoga is one of the tool. So yoga, pranayama, mudra, meditation, these are all the tools and that can help to not to caught into this material world, and you go beyond these gunas. And once you transcendental these gunas by understanding the nature of this material world, how the soul is trapped. So this, you trapped soul, you cut by this meditation, by yoga, by awareness, by your senses and everything, and then soul become free, and then you can go higher level, and you become a divine person, and then you meet it this way. So in that way, you see that it may be the Lord Vishnu, Rama, Shiva is all, they are not different. They are the same, coming from the same supreme being, but in a different form. And they are not different from each other, because they are all the same entity. This is how you can define the, like a different water, ice and stream is the same element, but the function and the operations and the properties is different. So if you want to drink water, you cannot eat ice. Ice has a different properties and different use. So when you are thirsty, you need water. So similarly, when you want to know, so the Krishna here says, when you want to know the truth, you need to understand the Brahman, the Paramatma and Bhagwan. These are the three different layers of the hierarchy. They manifest time to time differently, but it's the same, coming from the same sources as water, ice and steam. And which one will be realization is the highest path. So you need to know. This one we already discussed. If you remember that I gave you the train example, similar things. If you use the bhakti, then Bhagwan is the one who is easily you can achieve. If you want to know the Brahman, then you need to know the Gnana Yoga, so that you know this is how this consciousness and how this small divinity is manifestation is happening. So this knowledge can help you about this, to go beyond this. Now Krishna finally conclude with the last verse here. He says that this is what, Arjun, I give you this description about this nature of this material world, and the comparison about your matter and spirit, and matter and this energy, and highest realization. Once you go and understand this truth, then you become a divine personality. And I can give you the assurance here. He is like giving a guarantee, like a money back guarantee, that once you achieve this, you will become enlightened, truly enlightened, and you no need to come back again this cycle of birth and death. And that's why you become a more God realized person. And then this is the really, you will get me here, and you will become a normal human to divine human. or divine personality is called divine supreme personality called Purushottam. So that's what is the last verse he talk about, that by understanding this material world, the nature of the material world, the nature of this mind and senses who trapped by this false all this attentions, and then trap this soul, then once you understand, then you easy to cut. Now yoga can help you cut, the meditation can help you cut, the so-called the kriya can help you cut. All these are the different tools, but don't caught into the tools, don't fall in the tools, because then what is the point? Again you is again you want to come out, and then you fall in love with that trap again. So don't this is what the people do, they fall in love with the yoga and the postures and the meditations, go beyond that. And this is why we need a bhakti, we need to be realized, we need to go beyond our body and beyond our senses. This is why, and then we become a true Purushottam. Okay, so that is the end of this today's chapter number 15, Purushottam Yoga.
That was really good.
Do you have any questions?
I really, really enjoyed that.
Okay.
Question.
So anything, although it's difficult because certain topic we already carry forward from the previous chapter. I mean, so, but
yeah,
luckily
but
that
good.
something, yeah.
My favorite part was that the more you think about something, that's what makes you become obsessed with something. That's what makes you feel like you need something, because you're thinking about it over and over again. So
Yeah,
basically you need to, if you don't want to something to like burden you, just don't try not like think about something else. Don't
yeah.
obsess on one thing over
Yes.
and over again. So let me ask you something, Prashant. So
Yeah.
what we think we vibrate and we attract, right? Or what we feel. What is it? They say what we think we vibrate and we attract, but is it what we think we vibrate and we attract, or what we feel?
No, you don't feel it. It's all about thoughts. Thought is vibrating. That's why Krishna says, okay, how you feel and how you think. Understand this first. How you feel. What element you use, what organ you use to feel.
Your emotions, your heart.
And when you think, you use your brain.
Yes.
What brain needs? 1 + 1, 2. Logic. Heart don't need logic.
No.
Heart needs to feel. Simple. When you hungry, do you need certificate? Oh, now you are scientifically proven 12 o'clock at night, midnight, you are hungry. No, you feel it. Simple. Very simple. You don't need certificate. You don't need any justification. You don't need any scientific approval. Similarly, when you eat, if I ask you, Maria, how much you want to eat? You say, I don't know. Just give me a food. I am hungry. And when you eat, you may eat 2 bread or 2 egg or 4, whatever you eat. And then, okay, enough. I am now satisfied. So you know already. This is called wisdom. There is a knowledge to eat. But when you feel it, when you are doing, that is called wisdom. Because when you do, you know already, oh, I don't have to eat now anymore because I am already satisfied. And when you feel, when you know, you don't need to believe it. You don't need anything to have a justification. Oh, now I eat 5 bread and 1 egg. That means I am satisfied. No, you don't need the numbers. You don't go into that logistics. You know is you know. Yeah. So when you know, you don't believe it. You don't need to believe it. That means when you believe something or someone, you don't know. If I say I believe in God, that means I don't know God. If I know the God, I no need to believe anyone.
Yeah, you feel it.
So when you feel it, so similarly with love. If I love you, I don't need to say I love you. I want to make this. This is the real world nowadays. Oh, I want to send this message about love, and every day I want to message you. Every day I want to make myself available for you and reminding my love. No, so many times we don't bother about. Okay, you feel you don't need any approval. You don't need any I love you Valentine's Day or I love you my birthday. Everything you know. And you may not meet every day. Maybe we are meeting after 10 years, but still you love. That's the real love, because that is you feel it. And you know that the person you can count on it. Whenever, even if they are keep in touch or don't touch, you directly go to midnight and then, oh, I'm here, no, help me out. So this is where the feeling comes in. When all this sensation comes in, is just created by your mind and senses, and that we sometimes falsely we think and behave that we are feeling. No, there is no feeling. By the way, it is a sensory experience we try to be created by this mind. Mind is a very powerful thing. So don't caught into that. You just slept 2 times and then okay, this is reality or what. That is the best test.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any more questions.
Okay. So then if you don't have questions, then we will conclude this today topic. We will continue. There are 3 chapters remaining. Altogether, Gita's, those who are new here, altogether Gita has 18 chapters. So we already completed 15 chapters. 16 every Thursday. So 16, 17. Maybe the last chapter I may be in India. So let's continue and see. So try not to miss the what do you call that? The last part. I mean, we are going to the climax. So it's good. Try to come back and you will see the essence. I will try my best to keep it again. I got a few ideas that after this we will recap or something, so that even though those who missed out all the chapters, at least we get the essence of each chapter, because you have really missed out the bhakti yoga part of it. Okay, so later I will continue. So make yourself whatever is available. If you missed out, the videos, I will give you the video link. In fact, some of you already have it, so you can see the video later on. So today's video I will upload tomorrow. Okay, but live is better, so that I can feel also that someone is listening, and it will give me a more relaxed feeling rather than talking to the computer.
Of course.
Okay.
Bye,
So
thank you
so bye.
much.
Enjoy yourself.
This
Okay.
knowledge. Have a great night. Thank you for making our
Okay.
day.
Thank you. See you. Bye, Alba.